Radical.
Welcome to part one of Radical Rapid Fire for February 28th through March the 6th, 2022. Short comments, quick replies. Mal's Detergent. They really make a magazine about an update for COD? Laugh out loud, that's got to be the worst use of paper because once the next season comes out, it's useless. I don't know how often they release these seasons in Call of Duty Online, the war games or whatever they call it, Warfare. I don't know what they call it. Or the Fortnite. I don't know how often they bring out these updates. More than a year? Then yeah, that's a good argument that those magazines are worthless. They're worthless once that comes out. It's not like a strategy guide for a set video game. Like, if you have a strategy guide for Final Fantasy, then that game is not going to change. So it's a weird concept to have a strategy guide for an online game also because, well, online games are not always going to be around in general. So yeah, I agree with you there. It's kind of a waste of paper. If they sell a lot, then, they've made money, but yeah, a waste of paper ultimately. MIDI music forever. It definitely was the emulation. Nintendo hates emulation. Yeah, it's kind of weird how Wood pretended at first like he didn't know why they dropped him, like he had no clue, no idea. No, it was the fact that he showed off the emulation. He showed off the modded up version of Zelda. That's the main reason they dropped him. Like, they can't have that. They don't like that. That's like going to a cage, poking a tiger, then sticking your hand to the cage and going, ow, ow, my hand, ow, I don't know what's going on. There's blood everywhere. I don't know what happened. Retro Fusion Gaming. I remember this happening and his group all being surprised. The whole time I was like, duh, he's a nobody to Nintendo. Maybe he's kind of deep down aware that, he's a nobody to Nintendo. Like, Woodhawker's a nobody to Nintendo. He's just somebody that, does the bidding for Nintendo, peddles their products and whatnot. That's all he is to Nintendo. But I think what happens is these groups of people feel like they're very important on YouTube. They don't really understand what an actual company, not just like, not just like, Cheeto dusted fanboys of YouTubers and everything, which is funny to be a fanboy of YouTubers. But, when it comes to actually Nintendo doesn't care about them. Nintendo will shift out the RGT85s, the Woodhawkers, and they'll bring in, the RGT86s and whoever else, They're nothing to Nintendo. And that's a really hard pill for some of these Nintendo fanboy YouTubers to swallow. Bellstar. Nintendo is run like a machine. They just do things and don't care what fans think. Well, they're in a position where they don't have to care what the fans think because they're just so huge. Nintendo is a company meant to make money. They run things like a machine, and it is a very well-oiled machine. To the fact that actually many big fans of Nintendo, they come here all triggered when I speak the truth on Nintendo. Many fans of Nintendo don't literally care. Now, just because they release good video games doesn't mean they have to, be a shitty company and treat their fans like they, they can do it. But, it's another thing when people come here specifically and they get incredibly angry with me that I speak the truth and I dare to criticize the moves Nintendo makes, the anti-consumer moves. That's just, I don't understand that, But I will say they do have good games, so yeah, maybe if they release good games, maybe since they release good games, they can do no wrong in the eyes of these fanboys. Rewind video. Update is finally out. This game is everything I wanted it to be, and I'm loving it. I'm talking about Tormented Souls. I spoke on it, I think maybe 4 or 5 months ago, how it was going to be canceled or possibly canceled. I forget. But this is a situation to where a game is not only not canceled, but comes out and looks good. Like, it literally looks good. I looked at it and I was just kind of stunned and kind of shocked at how well it looks as a love letter to games from the late 90s and early 2000s like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Like, if you didn't tell me, I would go into that looking at that gameplay and say, what did the makers of the original Resident Evil games, did they work on this? Because it looks so much like those early Resident Evil games. If you want to know what Resident Evil, 1 or 2 or 3 or something in that style would look like with current graphics, yeah, check out Tormented Souls. MBK Silent. I don't know how anybody has the money to give out to YouTubers these days. Yeah, well, gas close to $5 a gallon. I can't see how anybody can, give any money to people like Woodhawker. Like, how messed up in the head are you to not prioritize? I mean, even if you have a lot of money, it's still stupid. Like I've always said, it's like still stupid. But there are people right now that are not like, they're not realizing that. I'm kind of speechless on that. When gas price is $5, I'm literally speechless on how anybody really, even if they have the money, is willing to spend that money to give out to people on YouTube. YouTubers, I don't understand it. Like, why? Why now of all times? Take the money, put it in the bank, and buy something else for yourself. Yeah. Keybert, you hit on a bunch of great points. I'm a Chargers fan, and I've always wondered why they couldn't win. Going back to watching the game, we always lost we lost on a field goal, fumble, interception. It's relieving to know now, but hard to swallow how much time was invested. And now I'm telling a few people how the NFL isn't real. Well, that's good. Hopefully this will spread, Keybert. Like, years ago when there were so many people that didn't know that YouTubers weren't real, that they were fake, that they were trying to play characters, trying to get sympathy to get people's money. And then people understood it. Now I hope people will understand that the NFL is a business. It is a business making its business decisions to make lots and lots of money. Oh, Tom Brady retires? Uh-oh, that doesn't look good. I don't think we should let him retire. No, he's got to come back. No, tell Tom he ain't going nowhere. We got a lot of money to make on maybe a final Tom Brady run. We got a lot of money. Do we want to put him over on the Super Bowl? It doesn't matter. We're going to make a lot of money putting the narrative that he's on the way to another Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, it's a money making, it's a business. That's what the NFL is. Michael Dietz, this is for the better. Smash Brothers is not a legit skill fighting game. You're 100% right. What you're saying, there is luck factor, and it shouldn't be taken serious as a fighting game. Well, this is something that's going to be interesting because I know there's a lot of fans of Smash Brothers and a lot of people that are better at Smash Brothers than other people. So I guess I could see an argument to how people could say, well, there's luck involved in every possible fighting game. There's no fighting game that's 100% pure skill. Okay, but tell me this. How would Street Fighter be if there were things that dropped out of the sky, for instance? You know how there's a lot of these type Smash Brothers type games where things just fall out of the sky and you wait for a drop? How much skill does it take if a big mallet drops out of the sky and you're waiting to get it, and then you're running towards the other character and you hit them with a freaking huge mallet and they go flying off the screen? How much skill did that take? So yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting discussion on what games are actually heavy on the skill when it comes to fighting games. When I think fighting tournaments, I think Street Fighter. Do a lot of you agree that Street Fighter is one of the most truest, in sense of the word, skill type fighting games? Or would it be something else? Would it be another game? Leave it in the comment section down below. This is an interesting area of discussion. What games do you think are the biggest legit skill fighting games, and what fighting games are not?